Create with Fran Sidney. Hello everyone and welcome to the show. Welcome to Create with France. We're here today with Victoria Amador coming from a really nice, sunny and wonderful and warm Florida, quite the opposite of what we have in the UK where I am now. And Victoria is going to talk about her soul healing tribe and how she can get people out of a lot of problems, including depression. So welcome to the show, Victoria.
Thank you so much, Fran, for having me here. I'm excited.
It's going to be so exciting. I'm just going to say, because you know so much stuff and regression techniques and the shamanic experience and hypnosis and counseling and all these qualifications and everything. But let's go straight to the case, because I've been talking to Victoria, guys, about this guy who had all sorts of problems, nighttime problem, daytime problem, depression, no purpose. What was going on in this man's life? Off you go. It's all for you now.
Sure. So let's call him JC for the purpose of this conversation. So JC came to me after having a lot of issues with, out of nowhere, having repressed emotions come, memories out of nowhere. It was just like an invasion in his brain. And he just went down a very dark path, from having thoughts of suicide to feeling like maybe it's best for me to leave my family because I'm just useless. So he was feeling very hopeless and helpless. And the situation got worse because he couldn't sleep. And you know, when you don't sleep, you don't get rest. So the nightmares were always about being killed or killing people, family members, and so on. So it got really disturbing. And he went through the traditional medical providers to see what happened, why is going on with me. And everything showed up fine. He thought maybe he was having a heart attack, maybe he was having a stroke, maybe something was wrong with his brain. They did a lot of CT scan and nothing was helping. So eventually they found me and we started working with the nightmares. And compared to what happens with psychoanalysis, when we're doing the nightmares and we're trying to put some symbolism to what's going on, we went straight to the regression work. And we discover a lot of things in there, from childhood, childhood traumas, but from his perspective and from the perspective of his siblings too. So not only we went to the age regression to see those experiences, but we also went in before he was born, into other experiences where in other past lives he had killed people and he was killed too. So we unpack all of that. We basically unpack everything that was creating the nightmares so that he could sleep. We also went through a lot of the work to understand what's happening with the lack of vitality, the motivation that was there in life for his business, his family, and so on. And as well as the disconnection, feeling I don't belong here. This is not where I belong. So there was a lot to be worked on through. And with that, we did that with a few sessions in order for us to, and we use a combination of the shamanic healing as well as the regression work. So it was a combination of things that we did in order for us to help him.
Mm-hmm. And for those who are in the audience, they don't really know what shamanic healing is. Could you maybe explain a little bit about it?
Sure. So it can be many different things. As we know, we have shamanism throughout the whole planet, right? So it depends on the background. But my background is in spiritual shamanism from the Dominican side, as well as the native side. So we do use some plant medicine, such as Hape, in order for us to ground ourselves or to journey and understand things that normally we wouldn't want to address. So for those that are listening, looking into Rapé, you can spell it H-A-P-E-H or R-A-P-E-H. And that is a medicine that is pretty well known now on the Western side. And people can really go in their bodies or outside of the body, depending on their intention for the session, for the therapy session in that moment, or the shamanic session. And it helps us, the energy of the Rapé has a master spirit that helps us really go in and understand what is it that I'm not willing to see in this moment? What is it that I'm not willing to feel that I have to feel? And it's like a punch.
I see. So it's like a biochemical reaction that happens and also has an effect on your spiritual part.
Absolutely. So my work is really working on the spiritual side so that we can work on the matter, the mind, the spirit, and the soul. So I use a combination of the therapies that integrates all of that for the best outcome for my clients.
Yes. So you work with him for several sessions, weeks, I don't know. How is he feeling today?
He's feeling amazing. He's able to sleep, which is a huge plus. His business is doing great. I mean, it's mind-blowing what we're capable of. And I think that's definitely one of the things that he learned through this process, that we are superhuman beings and that we can really tackle anything that when we really open ourselves to. He did a lot of work. It wasn't just I cannot take credit for everything that he did, because this man was willing to go through the darkest things in order to find the relief, because it was that bad. It was either put up with these emotions when I feel safe and I can do this work here, or perhaps I'm not going to be here tomorrow because I don't know. He was too unstable. So it was when you're the worst, when you're feeling the worst and there is no escape, that's when you really need to surrender, because there is the potential there for healing.
Let me understand then, when you say he did the work, so what does that mean? Did you give him homework, exercises to do? What was this work?
Well, Fran, sometimes when people want to do therapy session, they're hoping that the therapist is going to do magic. Mm-hmm. And that something the therapist is going to do is going to fix me. But this man understood very quickly, if I don't put up with myself and I allow myself to surrender to those dark feelings, I'm not going to feel better. And because he realized that pretty quickly on, he was able to go straight into those emotions with grace and really surrender to what he felt to be abused physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually by parents, including siblings. So someone that is willing to do that from the onset is desperate for healing, which normally doesn't happen with a lot of clients. Sometimes you have to titrate them into, okay, can you feel that now? Can you feel this? So you go slowly with some clients, but some people, the more desperate they are because they know this is life or the end, they're willing to surrender.
And I think you're right in that, because I remember talking to several people who, as a result of being neglected or sexually abused, now will not talk about it. And if you even mention it, they almost explode, and that's the end. And I think that is possibly the result of avoiding that emotion. And so the body keeps bringing it back during the unconscious moment when we're sleeping, because the body says, we want to process that because it's stored in every cell of my body, it has a meaning. And so unless we process it, it will keep coming back. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you said that, because through the dreams and the nightmares, we process what we couldn't process consciously. So when we're sleeping, there is a lot of things happening in our brain that allow us to go to where we are not. And then the thing is that because we're not sure how to process that, the brain will make images, faces, symbols in order for us to put two and two together. But sometimes we don't have the skills to unpack that. So we need someone to help us.
Yeah. Also because the dreams could be metaphorical many times. They represent something, but they're not whatever is true. Like, for example, many times I'm in a dream and I think, oh, that's my son there in the dream. And then I look back, that's my brother. And so right. How could it be the same person, And so there is something there about maybe a male person in my life, sort of thing. So we have to understand and maybe be guided. So is there any hope then for people who maybe suffer from anxiety, which is a major avoidance disorder, because you try to avoid the things that will bring you pain. So if a person has constant panic attacks, could they be that with your technique, with this regression technique and transpersonal hypnotherapy, can they get better?
Absolutely. I think I've been working with dreams and nightmares now for almost 10 years. the anxiety, like you said, is something looking forward to the future and thinking something bad is going to happen. So when we go through, whether it is through dreams or nightmares or simply an emotion or a thought that we have, we can regress the person to the origin of that experience. And most of the time it's going to be in childhood. Sometimes it's going to be in past life or in between lives. So it's exciting always because we don't know where we're going, but we know that the process is going to take us to beautiful healing experience.
Yeah. So that's great. So you have anxiety, you have depression. Is there anything else that can be unpacked using your methodology then? Really,
I think one of the things that a lot of people have issues with is, what is my purpose in life? What's the point of being here? And what I will ask those people that don't know is, what do you feel when you don't know what is your purpose in life? And that is going to give us the key to regress you to the origin of this challenge that you have. So that when you know and you release those emotions, the fogginess, the confusion, whatever it may be, then you'll have access to really see and understand what is your purpose in life. It's magical work when we work on regression and past life and age regression.
It's incredible. What if a person then comes to you but they actually don't believe in life regression, but we still want to be better? So
yeah, they don't have to. The unconscious reality is the most real reality we have. Whether we believe or no, it doesn't matter, because sometimes if we can say, let's pretend it's a metaphor then. If you don't believe in past life, you don't have to believe in past life. You don't even have to believe in age regression, right? Because some people don't want to go there. But when you do this enough, you learn to guide the client in a way that when they get there, it's all coming from them. It's not something that is coming from me. So the emotions that come with that experience, they cannot deny. And it can become very spiritual as well, because then they're like, wow, I didn't even know this was possible. So I do have a lot of clients, especially the medical providers, doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, they don't believe in past life. But when they start doing this work with me, they're like, I didn't even know this was possible.
So it's a conversion process, like, this is happening, so I can't deny that it's happening to me.
It's their emotion and everything comes from them. It's nothing that I'm saying that is going to give them. I'm not leading the client to anything. I'm just guiding them to experience and feel in their body what's happening with them. Because within our body, we have, like you said, we have all the memories, the consciousness of the entire planet and the universe is within us. So when we go through the regression work based on our feelings and sensations, we can go to other places that we don't even know are possible, that we don't believe that they exist, but they have an effect on us here now. And that's all we're doing.
And that's the thing, the emotions are still there, whether we like it or not. Did you experience yourself with shamanic regression in your life?
Absolutely.
Is that how you came into the world of it?
I started experimenting with, how do I unite both my shamanic aspect with the therapy work? And then I started going into the dream and nightmare, and how do I unite all of them in order for me to experience what I needed to experience, so that I wanted to create something that was going to take us from doing 2, 3, 4, 5 years of therapy work to do it in 3-4 months. So I started experimenting myself before I started using this technique with my clients.
Wow, that's incredible. Such a big good thing. So I hope that you were able to remove any emotional blocks or anything bad that was happening.
Everything is a lesson for sure.
That's incredible. So I know you were talking about giving some tips to people who are not feeling well. So there's your time to shine a little bit more light and help the audience in case they want to take action, but they don't know what can they do today.
Yeah, well, I always like to tell people, when we are hopeless, and I suffer from hopelessness in childhood, when we're hopelessness, we don't know that we're hopeless. We don't know that we have depression. So when we are feeling good, you have those moments when the relief periods, when we feel like, oh, okay, life is okay, I can do this. That's when we really need to seek help. Because when we start going down and we start feeling hopeless again, it's a little too late. You really do need to take action when you feel clear and you have that relief period. I also always like to do the mental bank account. And the bank account looks very simple, like a bank account. What are the positives that I experienced today? And what are the negatives that I experienced today? Where did I compromise my energy today? And at the end of the week, when I took record of this, I was like, oh my God, I'm living a lot of darkness. So I had to start working for myself on these issues, and also with other therapists. I do a lot of self-development work for myself too. And I realized that there was so much confusion and darkness in those experiences. So the bank account can give us an overview, especially if you're not sure what's going on with me. Why do I feel this way? That is going to be like a cheat sheet, similar to recording your dreams and nightmares. There is so much that your spirit is trying to communicate with you through those dreams and nightmares. And by diving deep into those dreams and nightmares and taking that to your therapist, if you're going to seek help, or if you're going to go to any type of shamanic healer, if you're going to do plant medicine, bringing in those experiences can help your spirit work with you so that you can release yourself from where you're stuck, wherever your soul fragmented. We can navigate through those dreams and nightmares, and you can do it yourself too if you meditate. So where did I compromise my energy today? Let's do an account for today. Where do I feel that I wasn't authentic with who I'm supposed to be? And what do I feel in my body when I'm not being authentic with myself? And sometimes we're going to feel butterflies, sometimes in an east. So you can, whatever it is that you're feeling, then simply ask yourself, I'm going to ask my spirit now to come back to me now. I'm going to work harder to become more authentic with who I'm supposed to be. But I'm going to call you now. Recuperating all those fragments that we leave sometimes throughout the day in different places, when we're having an argument, when we know that we shouldn't be doing something that we're doing. We live in little fragments. So ask them to come back. Invite them to come back.
Well, thank you. That was a good point, to be aware.
That's right.
Aware of what's going on. Next one. I'm ready.
The next one, I think I'll go a little more traditional for those people that like a little bit of the traditional stuff. One of the techniques that we use sometimes when people are very traumatized is that we use the envelope system. I don't know if you have heard the envelope system before, but basically you might be waking up and feeling off from the beginning of the day or in the middle of the day. You can carry a little pad, a little card, and you can write, what is it that I'm feeling right now? And you know what? It is no time for me to feel that right now, because I have to really go out there and I need to make the sale. I need to meet with clients. I'm going to write this down and I'm going to fold this and put it in my pocket. And I'm going to come back to you when I'm home and I can address this properly. And then you go into a 10 minutes meditation or contemplation. What happened in that moment? And what you're doing is you're training your body to know this is not the right time right now. I need space right now and I'm going to come back. But the key is that you need to go back, because next time that you do that, if you don't do your part that you said that you're going to come back, it's not going to listen to you and it's going to disrupt you because it's trying to get your attention, right? So that is one that I really love.
That's incredible. So really we have to maybe find, especially now Christmas time, all this madness of buying stuff, and we have to stop for a minute and listen to what's going on inside, because if we don't stop, then these feelings eventually will pile up and will be stopping us, because we might completely crash, feel defeated, and feel literally this weight on our, let's say, shoulders, mentally speaking, that we can't really, we actually might have spiritual blocks, emotional blocks, and not feeling right with something. And that is because we did not spend time to analyze what was going on there.
Right. Yeah. To honor our spirit, our soul. Yeah.
I think it's a bit like having a lot of weeds. when there are little weeds in your grass, if you leave them there, it's all green, it's all cute and small. And then winter comes and the leaves fall, and you see all these leaves and the weeds are there, dormant, and you're like, oh, I'll deal with them later. And then in this is very British. I don't know in Florida what you have. But after you have all these soggy leaves and they become mushy, so you don't want to touch them because it's very uncomfortable, which is what happens with the emotion. And I do like my gardening, so I always make examples based on nature. And so I think in the end, spring comes and you think, oh, today is warm enough, I go outside, get a rake and start pulling all these leaves so I can reveal the lush grass. And then you realize the grass isn't doing well because it was asphyxiating under these deep layers of leaves. And then you find all these little animals there, you didn't know they were there. I found a dead mouse the other day raking my own leaves, and I was like, what was that? And then you rake better and better, and you see the little weeds that you didn't care about. Now they are very big thorns, and there is a lot of work to do. So now you can't just pull them. You have to wear strong gloves because they are very spiky. It's going to be very annoying, and it's going to take you a lot of time. And you think, I wish I took some time then to stop for a minute, pull out these few weeds, and now I will be fine. But I'm not. And that's, we do procrastinate, do it. We tend to leave mental health to later on. Mm-hmm. Because we are busy with life, with a job, a career, a house, a car, the memberships, and then we don't realize our mental, our mind, let's say in Italian it was mente, needs the nourishing and clearing and taking the toxic stuff out. And when it doesn't, as you clearly say, Victoria, it comes back in the dreams, and if it's not in the dreams, will it not come back in eczema and psoriasis and fibromyalgia? Because when the body cannot express itself, it will come out in tears, in disease, in skin problems, in organ blocks, because the body is trying to tell you, hey, stop a minute.
Yeah, it's trying to call your attention the best way that it can.
Yeah. So we have to be good listeners. So maybe a good idea for the new year will be to pay attention and get, even Huberman Lab in the podcast, they say, get some journaling every day. Spend 10 minutes meditation and journaling, because even clinical studies have shown how good it is to write down those feelings and tackle, and then if needed, you go then to a specialist for something. But even just the daily habit of really writing down how we're feeling, that's an incredible thing. So I'm really
it helps process what we're feeling, right? So it's a way of purging as well. In shamanic, we say we're purging, whether it is mucus, sometimes gas, urine, fecal matter. But writing is a purging way because we're also integrating what's coming through our spirit and soul.
Yeah, it is. In fact, this experiment they were doing in a clinical research at Stanford was exactly that. They had to write down everything. They couldn't just think, they had to write it. And in the end of this, I don't know, it was 15 minutes a day, every single day. And after a period of time, like a month, they just felt there was a big shift there. And so I think that's the big thing, allowing this neuroplasticity to happen at the same time. So it's good to see all this stuff coming together, the holistic medicine, the hypnosis, the writing, the guided meditation, all coming together, because we as humans are coming back to understand we are not made just by a body. We don't need just food, but we need nourishment for the soul. And that is beautiful to nourish that soul.
Yes, absolutely.
That's good. So that was so good to talk to you, Victoria. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you had me. Thank you so much. I have fun.
Yeah, no, it's good to talk about this stuff. And we're going to put links about all the websites for Victoria if you want to ask her any question. She's just there, ready for you. And she's in Florida, so you have US time. Is it Pacific time? What time is that?
Easter time.
Easter time. I have no idea. It's like some kind of time there.
Yeah, I work with clients all over, so it doesn't matter.
You do work on Zoom and whatever else. So that's fun. So thank you for this episode. Thank you for learning more about shamanic healing and let me just understand this, transpersonal hypnosis, right?
That's right.
Very, very personal. And thank you everyone for listening to this. So if you are logged into your YouTunes now and you are listening to the episode, you liked it, why not sharing it right now? Just share it, like it, and even write a review. As you're already logged in, it's a lot easier. Put 5 stars. I really love this episode, and what did you love about the episode, or what can we talk about next? That would be so good to help us so that more people can know how to create the life they want. So thank you everyone, and I'll see you all soon. Take care and bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
You've listened to Create with Fran Sidney.